Hi there, if you're someone that has thought about living in a motorhome and travelling around but are a little afraid to, this is the video for you. How do you respond when somebody says to you, you can't do that? Well, when some friends said to me that I couldn't do that, in as much as I was talking about buying a caravan and travelling around New Zealand, well, that actually made me want to prove it even more, that I could do it. And so when it came time that I wanted to buy a caravan, I didn't tell anyone. I decided this was my decision and I was going to do it. So I found one I liked. I flew to the city where it was being sold. I looked at it, made my choice and bought it. So that was me, and then I bought a vehicle that I could tow it with, and it changed my life. And I lived that way for quite a few years. I travelled to different cities and I worked. I travelled up and down the length of New Zealand. I went exploring. I lived as a retired person and I loved it. So the common reactions are for people are several different ones. The first one is, number one, you need to wait until you meet somebody who would like to do this with you, and then you can do it. Well, my thoughts about that was, what if I never meet someone that wants to do this with me? And then when I'm 80, then do I think, okay, well, I'm obviously not going to meet someone, I better do it now. Well, it's a bit late then, isn't it? So I decided, no, I'm not waiting for that. I'm going to do it anyway. Number two was, how will you tow it? Well, I learned how to tow it. I was a fairly confident driver. I had done a lot of driving in many different places and with farm roads, metal roads, as well as highways. So I was quite confident about driving, and when you're towing something or you're in a bigger vehicle, you just have a larger spatial awareness around you that you are bigger than what you normally are. You need to give more time to slowing down and more brake distance in front of you behind another vehicle. You need to pull over when you've got traffic behind you, so you let them go if you're a little slow. So it's just being considerate. And you learn as you go. So it's not impossible for anyone to learn this. Number three is it safe? Well, it can be safe or unsafe. If you stay in the freedom location parks, well, then you are aware that there's no one around you and you're quite isolated. For me, I opted to pay and to stay in holiday parks, or camping grounds as they're often called as well. So I stayed in these, which were secure compounds, because it gave me an extra level of security. It also gave me the ability to use their amenities and free power, because that's part of what you pay for. So it depends what you want. If you want to do it as cheaply as possible and want to stay in freedom camping grounds, well, you'll need to take extra safety precautions. Generally, it is very safe. So you just are aware that you need to let someone know where you're going and things like that. Number four is, where will you sleep? How will you shower? Can you cook? Well, the bed that is standard for most motorhomes or caravans is not always the most comfortable. So the first thing I did was to buy a brand new bed that was custom made to fit the area for my caravan. And I made it super comfortable. I used bed linen from a house, made everything really cozy with a couple of extra pillows and extra blankets, made it soft and really lovely and inviting. In winter, I often put an electric blanket on just to give it that extra level of warmth, but it's very easy to look after and to make very comfortable. I had a shower in my caravan. I didn't use it very often, only in summer usually, because I like to dry it out completely with towels when I'm finished. I don't like to leave it wet. And in winter it could be difficult to get everything dry. And because I was paying extra to stay in holiday parks, they usually had really nice showers, and to have a very long hot shower at the end or the beginning of the day was just perfect. So I would much rather use their showers and not have to worry about the water that came in and the water that I would have to take out. And cooking the same. Most of these facilities had really good kitchens that you could use with ovens that you could roast if you wanted to do roast vegetables or meat. They had fridges that were much bigger. So the kitchens supply extra amenities, but my caravan also had an oven, a grill. It had 4 top cooking elements, and most of them come with I had an air fryer oven. Some have microwaves, and you can have as many extra amenities as you really want and need. So cooking is not a problem. The 5th one is, what will I do? And what you do is much the same as what you would do in a house. If in the house in the evening you like to watch TV or watch Netflix, well, you do the same. If you like to paint or read or write, whatever those activities, if you're into knitting or sewing, those things are just part of your life. Well, you carry on doing those things. If you like to go out, well, you go out. If you want to go dancing, you go dancing. Whatever it is that you are into, you can continue to do. It's just on a much smaller scale. You must be so cold. Well, no, I wasn't cold. It was quite the opposite. I was usually too hot. It's very easy to heat up a small area. And because I was on power and it was covered in the cost of my staying there, I would use a small fan heater to heat it up in the morning. Most vehicles come with their own heating, often LPG heating, gas heating. Some have a little diesel heater. Whatever it is, you can use that heating, and it will heat the space up so quickly and easily that you're usually having to peel off layers rather than putting extras on. So rather than thinking that it's a cold space, it really isn't. It's a much warmer space. And how would I back up the last one? Well, most campgrounds will have somebody that will help you with this. When I first started, I wasn't as confident about backing up a trailer into a small park. And often you couldn't back it up by going straight on, that the space in front of you was too narrow. So you had to back it up from going sideways and then make the vehicle, the trailer, turn around and into the park, even though you were going it a different way. So I got better at it as I went along, practice by doing it, trial and error. But I would sometimes say to the office, if I get stuck with backing it in, can someone give me a hand? And they always said, yes, absolutely, let us know, we'll send someone down to do it for you. So that was great. So it takes away that fear of not being able to do it properly. So if you're somebody that would like location freedom, you don't want to be stuck in one town for the rest of your life, and you have thought of maybe renting your house out and using that money to pay for you to rent a motorhome or to buy a small van of your own that you could sleep in, well, then maybe it's something you should consider. If you are confident at driving, you should be fine with driving something that's a little larger. I've met many women along the way whose retirement plan was entirely to live in a motorhome for the rest of their lives. They had sold the house that they used to live in, and they've bought a very nice motorhome, and this is it for them. Everything is scaled down. They are carrying everything they ever want, and they travel from city to city, exploring, meeting new people, meeting friends, visiting with family members, and this is the way that they've chosen to live. Most motor camps are in the most beautiful locations. They're beside the sea or a lake or river, or sometimes inland, in beautiful domains or parks. So you get to live in just the most gorgeous places with nature around you. And if you want to work, you can usually find somewhere that is close enough that you can commute to work, which I have done, and it's still quite comfortable. You spend your working day and you come home just as you would normally to another house, but you're doing it from your small house. So if this is something that has been at the back of your mind and you have thought to yourself, I wonder if I could do this, Well, I'm here to say you absolutely could do it if you chose to. If you really wanted to, then I'm sure you could find a way to do it.